Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. Myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 83, where today I'm going to be reviewing the Springbank 12-year-old cask strength. Now, if you already don't follow me on social medias, I'm going to leave those over here so you guys can go and check me out. As what I did is I went to visit the distillery all the way in Campbelltown, and it was quite a mission. It was a 3-hour drive, but it was well deserved. Now you can see over here, this bottle is actually not from Springbank. I just want to show you guys the bottle. This one we actually picked up when I came back to London, as when I was at Springbank, they were 3 days before bottling the actual whiskey. So it was unfortunate timing or circumstances, one could say. So anyway, I've poured myself a dram, and I'm going to start off by talking about the review style structure. So you're going to see up on screen right now, that's how the Springbank 12 does look. Now this is a cask strength expression from Springbank, part of their core range, which are released once per year. So if you do find it, I'd highly say, think about it. So, and by the end of the video, you will know whether you should buy it or not. So anyway, we're going to start with my review style structure. We're going to begin with the age of this whiskey, and it is a 12-year-old whiskey with an ABV of 56.5% ABV. So it's cask strength. The actual cask selections are 70% sherry casks and 30% bourbon casks. So it does have a primary more sherried influence in this whiskey, and you'll actually probably see that from the color of this whiskey. The actual distillery itself is a Springbank distillery, which you'll see over there, and I did visit them, so that's my picture. You can see over here, that is the parent company, which is J&A Mitchell & Co. Limited. And the region is from the Campbelltowns of Scotland, or Campbelltown of Scotland. So a region where you've only got 3 distilleries. However, if you go there and you just take some time to look around and speak to the locals, you'll hear that almost every second stone throw away was a distillery. And it's quite sad that all these different distilleries did close, and there's only 3 left. And effectively there was 2 left until the Springbank parent company, J&A Mitchell, decided to open up Kilkerran, which is now making sure that the Campbelltown region doesn't lose its status. But I'll do that when I'm going to do that review, because that bottle is right by my side right now. So I'm actually going to feature a few Campbelltown whiskies, a few new releases, and the reason I've been away as well, I'll cover that probably in the next video. It's too much to cover in the beginning. So anyway, in terms of the actual price, £58 for this bottle from Milrose of Soho in London. They had pretty much a good, I think they had 6 bottles, and I bought one as soon as they called me up and said, we've got this. I said, brilliant, I want one. In terms of exclusivity, yes, it's annual release, so once per year. And they don't specify the amount of bottles, as it's dependent on the amount of casks they do have. The colouring in this whiskey, well, I'll leave that to you to judge. Look at that. Tell me what you think. I'm going to take myself out of focus for a second. It's all natural colour, and it is non-chill filtered. So we have to assess the colour for this whiskey, and as I'm going to do it, you can see the background's changed as well here. I decided to give it a little bit of a change up, just to be a bit different. So anyway, I'm going to say it's a amber, but it's like a burnt, darkish amber on this one. So we're going to begin by assessing the nose. So into the nose. So to begin our assessment on the nose of this whiskey, so much depth, so much complexity, so much going on in this glass, and you can only imagine what's going on in that bottle. So to begin on the nose, my notes initially would be, it's got a gentle, briny, but a sort of burnt, rubbery character. So if you're burning rubber and you get that little coastal breeze that comes off from the Campbelltown region, you get that little saltiness, but at the same time a sweet, rubbery note, which, I don't know, that's the way I describe this whiskey in terms of the first appearance on the nose. And then right behind that, I'm getting those sweeter notes, the sherry notes, red fruits. And when I say red fruits, I'm saying red berries, cranberries, red currants, goji berries. If you guys haven't tried goji berries, give them a go and then try this whiskey. They'll be almost identical. I've said red currants. Even cherries, I'd probably say, in terms of the actual nose in this one. Lots of red fruit, sort of, I'd say, but more red berries, I'd say, in this one. And then you're getting a sweeter note that follows right behind it. And this is more, I'd say, on the lines of quite a rich, sticky toffee going on in the background. And behind that, there is a spicy aspect, which just tingled the top of my nose. It's like a sweet cinnamon spice, and this is like cinnamon powder, as if you're nosing cinnamon powder, with a slight grassy note just on the back end of this one, and it's just holding on ever so gently. It's like, the way I describe it is actually, I visited one of the distilleries. They had I don't know what you call them, a bale of hay. They left it out and basically it rained before I got to the distillery. And if you can imagine, the sun is just hitting down on this and it's just drying out that hay. And that little aroma of the dry hay just going into the atmosphere, that's exactly what it reminds me of. Yeah, that dry hay coming through right at the end. So, lots of complexity on the nose. Next, we're going to move into the palate for this whiskey. So, Salanger. Oh my word. So, to begin on the palate for this whiskey, it's so powerful, intense, but so enjoyable, so smooth. For that 56.5%, it's mouth-watering. What I would recommend if you're first time trying this one, have a very little sip, just so your taste buds get adjusted to that higher alcohol volume. Then go back in and take a nice luxurious sip of this whiskey. You're going to get those spices that introduce you on the palate. And these are your mouth-warming spices, your clove, black pepper, a little crackle of that. A little bit like an aniseed fireball sweet. If you guys have had those when you're younger, or even now, you can still go and buy them at the shops. It's like you put in that, you get that sweetness from the cinnamon spice, and then suddenly from nowhere, boom, the powerful punch of that spice really kicks into play. It's followed up by those heavy sherry notes now. But I'd say it's more a dried, well not dry, a fresh red plum. And this is the full red plum, the skin, the actual insides, everything combined. Cherries. And a few dried red fruits as well. The other sherried red fruits. Your raisins, your figs, your prunes. I'm not really getting any sultanas. Yeah, more or less those three. Behind that, a little nutty but salty presence comes into mind. This I'd say is salted almonds. With a little coating of a little salty, briny coating. And then walnuts with a side of oily character. So when you take a sip of this whiskey, you're getting that texture. It's quite viscous, quite rich, quite mouth coating. That's what I'm more or less associating this with. Very nice, rich, oily walnuts. And then that little bit of sweetness comes in, and it reminds me of salted caramel, which I ate recently at a tasting, and just, oh, that stuff is good. And then right behind that, I get a little wisp of smoke that just, it's like nagging you at the back of your palate. It's like, recognize me, and I'm going more or less with a sort of burning candle wax. Not that I've eaten it, but if you smell it when you're at a church, or if you're burning your own candle at home, or lighting the candle, letting it burn, that sort of association of that aroma, but on the palate you're picking it out. So really interesting on the palate, really nice full texture. So we're going to move next into the finish. Moving into the finish for this whiskey, wow, this one is luxuriously long. Keeps giving you that little combination of the sweet and sour notes. Almost like a licorice sweet, but with a bit more sweetness. Not so much of those sour characters. I'm sure a couple of you other YouTubers and people who enjoy your Springbanks will know the style just keeps giving the more longer you have it. Licorice, cranberry juice with a tarty note that as it sinks into your taste buds separates all of your individual taste buds as it sinks right through. A little bit of that salty coastal breeze finds its way through the mid and back palate. That soft wisp of smoke is ever so gentle now. It was more dominant in the mid palate, or more on the palate and onto the nose of the whiskey. And the finish, as I said, luxuriously long. It just keeps going and going. It's one I can sit with for hours. It's just superb. So overall, I'm going to give my rating and my comments on this whiskey, because I could go on and on about this one. I'm going to give this one here. Hopefully that is visible, because I am adjusting my camera settings every so often with the new background. This one, in terms of the rating, I'm giving it a 91 out of 100. This whiskey just keeps going on and on. It offers complexity, depth. It's giving you cask strength, natural color, non-chill filtered, a sherry cask, the textures. It's so versatile. It's viscous. It's just I can't stress enough. And also, in terms of value for money, at £60 or $58.99 I paid, I think it was, for this one. Such great value for money. It is a 70cl bottle. If it was a litre, I'd have to give this 95 and above because of the sheer amount you're getting more. But you've got to respect at the same time the distillery and how much they're producing, and at the same time how much demand they have to supply to the market, because the market is going to eat this one up really well. So in terms of would I recommend this one, yes I would. Would I add water to this one? I did an experiment where I poured 5 different ones. I added water, ice, a couple drops of water, neat, and there was another wild card I did. But if you add water, it reduces the spice completely. If you add ice, it suppresses that sort of softer, rounder notes that you get from the bourbon cask, and it enhances those sherry notes. If you like the much more richer sherry character with that little salty note, it just goes hand in hand. And some of you guys will be like, Jason, you're saying ice, add ice to a whiskey? Yes, give it a try with this one. It's very unusual, but it's something you'll definitely remember. And if any of you guys are in London, I'll bring this in. If we go for a tasting. Absolutely mind-blowing in terms of the way in which this whiskey evolves with the amount of versatility with water, with ice, just with neat. It's got it all, and that's one thing I really enjoyed. I'm going to see if I can find another bottle of this one somewhere in London, but if not, I'll have to hunt for it around the world. But yeah, 91 out of 100 is my rating. If you do find it, and if you do like that little salty style of whiskey, that soft whisper smoke, and there's nice rich sherry characters at cask strength, this one is just awaiting for you to buy it. I'd highly recommend you go out and find this bottle. If you see it in your local shop, just pick it up, give it a go. I'm sure you'll like it. I know there's a few other whiskey bloggers and YouTube bloggers that really love this whiskey, and it's just great. So anyway, I'm going to wrap the review up on that. Let me know what your opinions down below in the comment section, and also be sure to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and on my Facebook. And if you haven't already, I'm going to leave some other wildcard videos over here. Be sure to click my subscribe button, as I'll be uploading a lot more content this week, and I've got almost 20 videos I'm doing after this, so you're going to have a lot of content following in the upcoming 3 weeks. So this has been JasonWhiskyWise. I'll wrap the video at that, and I'll catch you all for the next video.